Hi, good evening. Welcome to Maryland Metal, another video series. As we continue the series, tonight we're going to talk about the history of American coins, a couple of other rare world coins, ancient, and then we'll get into some specific coins we have here. Well, obviously, America started in 1776, year of independence, and then they started minting coins. Now, the first coins, we really are just going to deal with the silver dollar and then the gold pieces because those are the major ones. You had originally the first silver dollars, which was the flowing hair. People are familiar with that, so I guess we can start. If you can see that, that's the classic flowing hair. It was only minted for a few years, so if you see one of these, you definitely want to buy it graded and authenticated. It's very hard to find in good shape. They're very valuable. We're talking about thousands, and we've sold one here for over $2,000 from the wholesaler, and we've seen them at auction. We're moving right along here. We have the capped, the next version of the flowing hair dollar from the early 1800s. And then you can see the hair, facing left, they changed the design. Then we have the seated Liberty, the mid 1800s to the late 1800s. That one's also very expensive. We have one of those on our site. We then go to the trade dollar. This is in more of the late 1800s. These were nearly a little less than an ounce, but they were $1. As you can imagine, that was a dollar, but the value of silvers increased so much that these are just the silver content alone is more closer to $20. Then we have the classic Morgan, 1878. Many of these were minted all across the country with a big silver load found in Nevada. We had in Philadelphia, minted till the early 1900s, and then again in 1921. They skipped some years. And there was always the conflict between the gold standard and the silver miners always wanted us to maintain our silver. Of course, there used to be a much lower silver to gold ratio. Now the ratio is near 70 to 80, but back then it was fixed at a much lower rate. Here's the peace dollar, 21, 22. It's 0.77% of an ounce, and that basically went until the World War II. Going back, we go to the dollar. We had the $1 gold piece in the mid 1800s that had three different versions. We had the Indian head small, Indian head large, and the Liberty. This is the Indian head small, if you can see that. This is an example of the Liberty. That's really the later version, and I've had some of those that their melt value is like $90, but they trade at nearly $200-300 depending on or even more depending on the rarity in the year. There's the large head Indian for the dollar, and the smaller head Indian. We then have the early gold Liberty, which is the $10 Liberty, about half an ounce, capped bust. These are incredibly valuable now because there weren't that many minted, and there aren't too many left in good condition. That was the early one. Then with the capped bust for face left. The next version, as you can see here, and then the Liberty is what we have in the later 1800s to the early 1900s, $10. This is an example of 2.5. So you had the 2.5, the 5, which is half eagle, the $10, which is the full eagle, and then we didn't get till later in the mid 1800s until later the double eagle, which is nearly an ounce, close to an ounce. The eagle is really considered about a half an ounce of gold. And this is the Liberty version of it, and we saw the earlier versions. This is the Indian head. This is for the 2.5 and the 5. It was actually inclusive, which means it was minted inside as opposed to on top. These are great coins. Later into the 1900s, we already saw this type $3, and then there was something called the Stella, a $4, only for a couple of years. Those are extremely expensive. They're very rare. It's hard to even collect those. Here's a $10 Liberty. And then there's another version of the $10 Indian head, which had the St. Gaudens, who designed the St. Gaudens double eagle, designed this one, which I think is the nicest coin in American history. It's the $10 from 1907 till 1933, when we made it illegal to hoard gold, which is basically more than $100 of 4 gold coins, until 1971, when Nixon took us off the standard, and finally Gerald Ford made it legal again. And here is the amazing double eagle, which is the largest coin America ever minted, and the Liberty for the late 1800s, and then the St. Gaudens, which is one of the greatest designs ever, standing Liberty with this beautiful eagle, and that went till 1933 when it was made illegal. So that's the history of American coinage, and then obviously we went off the standard. We still had some dimes, quarters, half dollars, and 90% silver till 1964, and now that was sort of a continuation of the silver. Then it was taken out of circulation, and those have all been grabbed out of banks and circulated, put into bags, and you can buy those called junk silver. But if you have them in good condition, they're typically worth a little more. I think we're gonna have to wait for another video series to go over rare ancient coins. We're gonna go over the Greeks. Probably in the next video series, we're going to go over the Roman coins, we're going to go over the Byzantine, we're going to go over the medieval coins from all over Europe, and then the modern. But I do want to quickly go over, I guess we're going to have to do another series for bullion as well. That's where we're going to go over modern coins, starting with the Krugerrand in the late 60s until the current era. We have all of these. For our next video, we're going to go over what modern bullion coins from the Philharmonics, pandas, Canadian maples, how pure they are, different sizes, etc. So for now, we're going to go right into our current spotlight coins, we'll call them. Starting with in this case, an Austria 1915 restrike of the ducat. This coin is extremely popular on our eBay store. Over 31,000 people have viewed it. Why, I'm not sure. It is in proof finish. Now, this was not minted probably in 1915. Almost 1 million of them were minted from 1920. As you can see on the NGC guide, between 1920 and 1936, almost 1 million of them were minted. So this is probably something that was minted, still unique, about before World War II. And look at the condition, is flawless. So it's probably worth close to $300. Just the melt value alone is $203. From there, we'll go to a 1999 American Silver Eagle. This is something everyone should own. The Silver Eagle with the Walking Liberty design. This is what we used to have on the half dollar. Came back, and this year the Mint is making a new design that was just approved for a new Eagle. This is 1 ounce, 99.9% pure silver. So you can see it's larger than a 1 ounce gold because gold is more dense. So less gold is heavier. And then in the back you have the, let's see if you can see that, the eagle with the stars. It says 1 ounce. Now, this is encapsulated in something special, a very nice special case. So people will pay more, plus it's $19.99. The older you have of these, the more valuable. We've got it listed for about $45, but you can make an offer. We then have this amazing 5 ounce ATB, America the Beautiful. These are series that were minted recently. Every year they put out about 5 of them, and this is from San Antonio. It has the Texas San Antonio mission, so it's the history of the missions out there in Texas. You got a church, you got a lion, you have some other notable designs. This is now listed on our eBay store currently for $180, but you can make an offer. It's a great piece of big silver. I do want to mention this bullion. We have a Philharmonic 1/10 ounce. They have the design again from the different musical instruments on the front, on the obverse, and on the reverse. They have it's not the opera hall, it's actually a very, very old organ from a famous music hall in Vienna. And it's called a Muskverein, I believe. Republic of Österreich. This is one of the oldest mints in the world. Austria has a long history. Definitely look that up. Of gold and silver. Bullion actually coming from the Crusaders when Richard the Lionheart came there and sold them silver on the way. So that's going to be part of our next series on bullion. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining us this evening from Maryland Metal. And we welcome you to our website. It's marylandmetal.us, where you can see all the different coins we currently have. And we can also order any major bullion coins from the largest wholesalers, get you great deals on 1 ounce, half an ounce gold, 1 ounce silver, rare coins, unique rare coins, as well as a rare coin program. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.